Here we go. 3, 2. Hey, everyone. It's Craig Severinsen here, and I want to welcome you to our first in a series of guest presentations geared to help you land more clients faster than you think possible. And before we dive into today's presentation, I want to cover just some quick housekeeping. First off, I want to say welcome to everyone because pretty much everyone is new. We just launched this group about 2 weeks ago, and we're already up to 350 members. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for participating. I just want to point out that this group is unique in 3 ways. So first of all, we're bringing people together from across the communications spectrum, okay? So we got solo PR pros, solo marketing pros, solo social media pros, and that makes up the majority of our membership. So what that means for you is that there's a lot of opportunity to network, to find strategic partners, and even get referrals. But I just want to make sure, that it's clear that this isn't a place to sell, right? Like this isn't really a place to be overly salesy, I guess is the word, overly promotional. Maybe it might be the better word for it. What I really want to encourage you to do is just earnestly participate in the group. And the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. Second thing that makes this group a little bit unique is that we're focused 100% on business development. So we may talk every once in a while about being a better practitioner or a better service provider, but the focus of this group really is to make you a better CEO of your company. So please come here for questions about best practices for sales, best practices for marketing, getting clients, and any CEO level question, bring it here because I think that this community is going to provide a lot of value. In fact, not that long ago, somebody asked questions about CRMs, and I think that that's a perfect example of what you should bring to this community. And then the last thing that makes this group unique is that we're bringing you valuable live training every single month. Each month, we're going to have 2 of these Facebook Live sessions. The first one in the month is going to be just one-on-one with me. We're going to do a Q&A where we're going to talk about sales and marketing. We're going to have a theme or we're going to have a topic we talk about, but really it's for if you've got a question about sales or marketing, bring it to that conversation. And then the second one is going to be a group presenter. So take a moment and put these on your calendar. If you look in the description of the video, I listed out everything until the end of the year. I would say just go ahead and mark that on your calendar. But the next 2 that are coming up are on June 7th at 11 a.m. is the Q&A with me. And then on June 21st at 1 p.m., and these are Central Time, by the way, that's going to be our next guest presenter, which is going to be Art Snarzik. And he's going to be talking to us about how to land your ideal clients using personality tests. So the science of personality in your marketing, which is really cool. It's a very cool concept. Okay, that brings us to today's presenter, who is Judi Hayes. And I've known Judi now for about 2 years. I love her. She's great at what she does. And she is an expert really when it comes to how to get clients on LinkedIn. She's great at the targeting, the connecting, and the converting with potential clients on LinkedIn. And her work really does drive engagement, thought leadership, brand awareness, and probably most importantly, revenue for her clients. So today I'm really excited because she's agreed to pull back the curtains and give us 3 kind of steps or 3 tips of how we can get started landing clients on LinkedIn. And live participation is encouraged. So in the comments, write what you're learning, write any questions you have, and we'll take them and we'll use them here to participate. So without further ado, Judi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Just want to take a poll from the audience. Are you guys hearing this okay? Because I'm hearing it in and out. And I just want to know, is that just me or is that everybody? So is everybody trying to see what you guys are saying there? Can you hear this okay? Are we going in and out? Should I talk slower? Okay, I'm going to leave the messaging up to you. So LinkedIn is probably my favorite platform. And in working with Craig, he helped me really to claim a niche. And I was very resistant about this niche thing. And I'll tell you why it's important on LinkedIn. Because what you want to do on LinkedIn is it is a business to business network. It is different than Facebook. It's different than Twitter. It's different than Instagram. And it is different because it's a professional audience. So it's kind of like if you were to go to a party, and if it was, something that was of business nature, how would you present yourself? Would you dress differently? Would you talk differently? So when you're on LinkedIn, you think of it as a business uh, event, if you will. So anyway, let's talk about the three main areas. There's actually four areas. The first thing that's really important on LinkedIn is that you want to create a professional brand. And back to the niche issue is when you're creating a professional brand, you want to stand out for something in particular. And the reason why you want to create a professional brand is that it's a signal to people that lets you know that you're active, that you're doing things, you're active, you're engaged. The second thing is you want to find the right people, okay? And there's a way to do that. And what I mean by the right people is you want to find people that are going to be ideally your target audience, could be your colleagues, could be people that could introduce you to people. But it's really important to be strategic about who you connect with because you're connected to their connections. You get the 6 degrees of separation, and the more you're connected, the more you're connected. So by connecting to high quality connections, you're going to have a better chance of expanding your network of value. The next thing is that you really want to engage on the platform with insights. And this is where I find a lot of people miss the boat. They're on LinkedIn. Okay, so they got this great profile. They've got these great connections. Crickets. Nothing happens. They've never posted an update. Maybe they're liking some things, but liking is like a passive form of engagement. So really engaging, and you actually have to put yourself out to do that. You have to, there's certain things I'm going to show you in a minute that you can do, but engaging with insights, those keywords, really important. And then, the final thing is really building strong relationships. And I think I met Craig because maybe I saw something in my LinkedIn feed pop up, bada, bada, bada. We're connected. I have never met him in person, but we've had these video calls. And so I feel like I kind of know him. There's been many people that, and not just here in where I live, but, when I travel, if I've engaged with some people on LinkedIn, I try to meet them in person, because the whole point of all of this is it's not replacing that people-to-people relationship. We're building relationships with people that we want to get to know, people that hopefully we like them, and that, we trust them. So if I need something or if I want to refer somebody, those are the people that I'm going to think of first. So, okay, so let's jump into it. Let's talk about profile. And now I would like to share my screen. So there I go. And tell me if I'm doing this right. Are you seeing my screen? Is that a yay or nay? You're silent, Craig. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
Okay, I put in a headset and apparently it grabbed it. Yes, we can hear you, or we can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, so the main thing, and I'm just using mine because I can be critical on mine. I'm going to critique a few in a minute, but I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings if I say something and you say, oh my gosh. So, or I could critique Craig's. Actually, why don't we do that with Craig's? Yeah.
Like you can be mean to Craig.
So,
that's fine with
one
me.
of the most, is that okay? Are you going to cut me off?
Yeah, that's
here?
okay. It's okay.
Right. Okay, cool. One of the most important things on LinkedIn is going to be this header visual, okay? Most people have now moved to the new format where your photo is in a circle to the left. And if that has happened, what you want to do is make sure it's not blocking anything. So what's nice about what Craig has here is that he has a really interesting image, and then he has text over the image that really kind of underscore what he does, land more clients, and he has his logo. And I think this is an example of a really good profile image. Now, I'll just go back to mine for a second. The reason why I put these people, and some of you may know them, some of you may not, but these are people that are well known in the industry. And so I wanted to, I don't have a picture of me speaking in a room yet at this point, but usually they say either put your geographic location here, put you giving a presentation, or basically what it is that you're conveying who you are. That's what you want to show here. So what I've done is I just came back from social media marketing world, and so I put these people here. So if you know them, then you know them. Anyway, getting back to Craig's profile. The next thing that's important is your picture. This picture should be, it should be a professional picture, really. It should not be a picture of you with somebody's arm cut off or a picture of you really tiny. You know, this is really your calling card here. This is where you want to put that face. You can look into the camera, you can look to the side. You know, there's a lot of schools of thought about that, but something that just really captures the essence of who you are. Then the next thing that is really important is this line. This line here is called your headline. This is not your job title, okay? A lot of people have their job title there, and that is wasted real estate because this shows up in different places. So what you want to do, I have a formula that I use with my clients, and it goes like this, okay? You may want to write it down. Say what you want to say what you are. So that is, you know, who you are, your title, so to speak. In my case, I say digital strategist. Say who you help. Okay, so, you know, that is really like, who's your target? You know, I help business owners. I help small business owners. I help emerging companies. I help technology companies. Say how you help them. So how you help them is, in Craig's case here, he helps you take action. That's how he helps them. And then give proof or your credibility or what the result is. And in this case, I land more clients. So it's really it could be your title and your name, although that comes up again. Your title and your name, your targeted industry, and the benefit. Okay, so it's something like, you know, I help ba da ba da ba do da 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 to da 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 da. Okay, kind of play around with that. If you're not sure about this, I would suggest doing a search and search for people. You know, you can come up with whatever title you have or who you are, search for it and see what other people are doing, because chances are you're going to show up with them in various feeds. And for example, here on Craig's, it shows up right in the sideline here, which is something, by the way, I would not have show, because why send people to competitors' pages, right? Right? Think about that. Okay, so the
So
next
wait,
thing
are you saying, Judy, are you saying that you can,
don't show. Don't show people who also viewed. I would make that private because these are other
oh, I didn't know
coaches or
you could do
people that
that.
are.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I'll talk about that at the end, but
Okay.
you want to just provide what they need to know. You know, it's kind of like you hear that in the movies. You know, I'm going to tell you just what you need to know. That's what you want to put on your profile, just what they need to know. What's nice about this new format is right here, they're showing your company. So, and you have control over what is actually going to show here, because, you know, you might have multiple companies or multiple roles, but it shows that, it shows your education. And then this is great. This is your contact info. And can you all still see the screen? Yep. So this is where you want to have your Twitter, if you have a portfolio, if you have your email, any way that you want people to contact you. This is front and center. And then if you have your connections visible, which again, you know, there's two rules of thoughts about this. One is, do you want people seeing all your connections? Maybe. If you're doing something that's very proprietary, you may not. So, you know, in some cases, I would advise people, it really depends on what their purpose is and who they're connecting with. But this is all the great information that you see here. The other thing is that you see things like you can share this profile, you can block people, you can request recommendations. You know, there's a lot of things that you can kind of poke around and see what's going on. But the next most important part of your profile are these three lines. These first three lines in your summary. Okay, so here's the whole summary. It's those first
So,
three lines.
so Judy, before you move on, I just want to make sure we capture and really distill what you just said, because I think
Okay.
first off, for me, you know, this is a good wake up call because I do a lot on LinkedIn, but the change just happened and I haven't updated a lot of this stuff. Like I saw my email is the wrong email. You know, my picture is now covering the words. It used to be right in the middle. So like even though I've been using LinkedIn a lot, I see that there's a lot of room for improvement as well. But two of the things that you said, right? The most important part of this profile. Did you say it was the header or the headline? Which one is more important?
What's that now? I didn't hear that.
Which would be more important, the header or the headline? Like that picture or your headline? Which one is in priority?
Oh,
Which one?
this or this?
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, you got to do both. Because if you don't do this and you've got that ubiquitous blue background, it's like, really? Get a
Okay.
stock photo. If you don't do your headline, you're missing the opportunity. as you're reaching out to connect with people to really put forth what you do. Because they
And you're
know your job
saying
title, they can
don't,
see it right there.
yeah, and you're saying don't do just your title. Do something like what I did there, where you say, I help you do X, Y, Z, or I help blank person. Put your niche there to do something to get some sort of result. Great advice.
Right. And then you could say, I help, entrepreneurs, or I help technology entrepreneurs, or I help, founders. Whatever it is, I help. Who do you help? What do you help them do? And what's the result of that? And you're going to see more and more people doing that. So you want to make sure that you're, coming up with something that really is what you do. Okay, instead of just your job title, because your job is there. There's your company. Now, if you have your job title showing up, owner and president, if I see owner and president in Brightworks PR, so I'm thinking you're a PR firm. I'm missing the whole boat on the essence of what you do. You have a character limit. You can go way beyond this. You can put up one of those pipe symbols, and then you can say coach to, da da da, whatever you want to put up there. You can go the maximum characters. And I'll tell you a little hack. If you max out on your characters, you can take your mobile device and you can edit it on your mobile device and you get more characters. So that's
Interesting.
something to think about. Yeah. Now, what I did in mine was, again, I am not perfect and I'm constantly modifying this because I test things. But what I'm saying here, instead of I help, I put engage your audience, elevate your brand. I'm speaking to you, whoever you are. So I engage your audience, I elevate your brand, I grow your business on LinkedIn. And these are my offerings, done for you, done with you, and do it yourself. I ran out of space. So that's why I, kind of make the words brief. But that's how I've handled it. And my company is Smart Dog Digital, which, that could be anything. I mean, so that's why I put this here. And the niche part of what I was saying earlier is you got to claim a niche. I do all social channels, but LinkedIn is really the bulk of where my business is. So I'm claiming it. I'm saying I do LinkedIn. But if I happen to work with somebody and they do Instagram or Facebook or whatever, sure, we can do all that. But so that's where, don't be afraid to claim it. You can always change it. It's just a little bit of an exercise. This is not your resume. And most people that have started out LinkedIn a long time ago, it's like a resume, and it's really not. It shouldn't be your resume. This is, in modern day, this is social selling. You're here to, some people are here to get a job. Some people are here to prospect and build business. I work with most clients to build business. So
I
anyway.
love what you're saying there about, if you have president or CEO or whatever of your company as your headline, that really is, it could be anything. And I think I'm a perfect example because I actually did start out as a full service PR firm, which is why the name is Brightworks PR and Marketing. And I transitioned to helping other PR and marketing people to get clients. So more of like a business coach. So I love how you're saying, hey, you know what, make sure your headline reflects what you want people to know about you and what you do. And I think that's, just to drive the point home what you're saying, it's prime real estate. It's like, just like, the headline in the newspaper is the most important part, or in the article or magazine, the headline on your LinkedIn profile, one of the most important parts, because that's what calls the attention. If it doesn't get their attention, they're going to move on. So if you're using this to build business, put some extra time into that headline.
Yeah, and I just want to show you, here's some of my connections here, and you can see where, I help retailers customize online marketing strategies, senior advisor, strategic business development, founder, CEO, So you can take a look, and generally I'd look for my competition. I want to see, okay, who's doing what I do, and what do they have? And there's some here that are very generic, and there's some here that really are very informative. It's like, oh, this one has an interesting background. I want to connect with this person. So that's why you do that, because that shows up, and I'll show you some other places as we get into this where these things show up. So just to recap on that, the most important part is your headline, your header image, and where did I go here? I lost this. Your headline, your header image, and the first 3 lines of your summary. And one thing, by the way, is if some of you have your LinkedIn, the URL for your LinkedIn, and there are characters or numbers, random things after your name, you can get rid of that, and that's in your privacy settings. That always helps me understand how well people know the platform. People that have gotten rid of that, I say, okay, they know what they're doing. People that still have that there, okay, there's some opportunities here to help them optimize. So anyway, that's just a little tip. Okay, so the next part of this is, and if you have any questions, if you want to ask them as we're going into this, let me know. Now, in this profile section here, the summary, you are now allowed to have up to 5 pieces of multimedia. 5 pieces of multimedia. These could be slideshows, these could be videos. If you have a PDF presentation, put it on SlideShare, which is part of LinkedIn, and upload the link, and it'll show that. And again, I'll show you what I've put here, because this is how it shows up. See what's showing up here? My headline, the header image, 5 pieces of multimedia, and the first 3 lines. So take advantage of that, because I have some JPEGs here, I have a couple of presentations, and a link to a video. One thing you ought to do when you're looking at your summary is, if you want to know if it's client facing, and again, if you're using LinkedIn to find business, to find clients, you really want them to read something where they feel like they're identifying with it. I'm talking to you, okay? So what I do is take the I, me, you, your test. Yeah. How many times do you say I or me or my? Do a little tick, tick, tick. And how many times do you say you or yours? Are you talking about yourself? Because, that's nice. Do you want to engage with the person at the party that's sitting there telling you all about what they do? And it's like, well, yeah, that's great. Or do you want to sit there where somebody's asking you questions? Do you identify with this? And what's your pain? What's your problem? How do you solve that? Whatever. Think about how you want this to relate to the person that's reading it. Okay? So
And
it's not about, like, yeah, like I did this in
uh,
high school and then I moved here and then I did that. Who cares? Honestly. I think somebody posted that, Janet posted that, and who cares about that? They want to know about them. So, that was right on. And I think it was posted in your group, Craig.
yeah, I do remember that. It was Janet. The way I learned it is, and this sticks in my head from my email fundraising days when I was in the nonprofit industry, is you is glue. So the word you is glue, right? When you're writing sales copy, which this is, I think one of the things about LinkedIn is you've got to be really friendly and you've got to be really casual, but you're still writing sales copy. Like, you're writing something that is
Yep.
meant to engage the person who's reading it. So you've got to focus on them. Even when you're talking about yourself, you've got to say what's in it for them, right? Like, why do they even care about who I am? And every time you throw that word you in there, you as glue, it brings their attention back into the copy. So the more you've got that word in there, and also think about what that does for you. If you're saying the word you a lot, that means you're focusing your sentences on them, which makes the copy more compelling for them, right? They want to read it more. So I think
Yeah,
that's
no, I
that's a
like
great
that
way
use glue.
also. That's a great way also here, Judi, just to kind of point out the differences between LinkedIn for maybe getting a job and LinkedIn for getting clients. Like, getting a job in this section, you're going to be talking all about you because you want them to hire you. But in this section, if you're going for clients, you want to talk about what's in it for the client. Why would they want to reach out to you? And I've got to say, I've gotten a lot of business from that video I've got posted on my profile. So in terms of that multimedia, it's just this presentation I did, almost 3 years ago now. And I just threw it up there randomly because I wanted to put something there, and it just took off for me. So, really, make sure you take this seriously. Make this client focused, and then put some multimedia in there that kind of takes them further down the path, right? Like, what's the next step to working with you, and make sure you include that in there.
Yeah, and that's one thing I want to encourage you to do is, before you do any changes, go here and download a PDF, share a PDF, so you have a working document, because nothing is set in stone, and that's the beauty of this. You can try things out, you can modify it, but always save a PDF so you have something to go back on. So if you realize, that didn't work, I want to go back to the other one, you've got it. What I did in mine was really, this might sound familiar, but I partner with individuals who are frustrated because, right, Craig? You helped me come up with that.
Yeah.
But what I did here is really, my work is based on the results. I can tell you anything, but if it doesn't get results, so I put 2 examples. These are from current clients that I have that have gotten some recent successes. So I put that as proof. and then I say still not convinced, and then I have ready to talk to me. And what I was told was not to have too many call to actions. So I want people to call. If they want to talk to me, book a consultation, call. Because that's what I'm doing. Again, I'm not the definitive rule. I try things, I test things. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I scrap it and do something else. So I encourage you to test and try, but look at what your competition is doing. I think you'll get a lot of good information from there. So, okay, so the
Judi,
next
can
thing.
I throw in some color commentary again? If you scroll down to your
Yeah.
call to action,
Yeah.
this is a small thing that I think we miss a lot, is the purpose of this profile is marketing, right? Which means we're trying to create opportunity to sell. We're not necessarily trying to sell to them. And if you look at your call to action there, it is book a consultation. So that's perfect. It's your consultation is your sales process. This is a marketing tool. So we're trying to move them from the marketing to the sales process. That's just a small little thing that you're doing that works really well that not everybody does. So I just want to point that out. Basically you're basing your business around a free consultation, which is designed to sell them into your products versus trying to sell them right here on this page.
Yeah, this is not, that's the big thing is some of my clients I have to tell us, you do not sell on LinkedIn. It is for building relationships. And if you try to sell people, and I get these messages all the time, and I actually have figured out a way to turn it around to a positive thing. But if you try to sell people, it's like immediately, nope, no thanks. So don't do that. Okay. So the next thing.
I'm writing that in the comments because that's a great thing.
Don't sell.
It's
really a relationship. That's what it is, really. And my goal in my experience on the platform is to take the online relationships offline. Okay, so I think I would ask yourself these questions. Say, what story do I want to tell? Okay, what kind of story do I want to tell on LinkedIn before you write your summary and before you put who you are? What's the story you want to tell? And what's the purpose of being on the platform? And so if I were to answer these questions, the story I want to tell is that I really like the platform and I enjoy working with it and I'm good at it. Okay, so how do I frame that with results? What do I want from the platform? I want to make connections with people where I think we can help one another. It's reciprocal, okay? And then I want to take as many of those connections as possible offline. Offline could be a face-to-face, it could be a phone call, it could be a video call, whatever. But that's really, when I think about that, and now I go back and look at the connections I have and I think, how many people have I actually engaged with? And so I've set up a strategy for that. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is targeting connections. And this is really where the nitty-gritty comes in. What you want to do with your connections here. I'm still kind of I would say I work with some accounts that have over 20,000 connections. It's a monster to manage, but they are really connected. But they're not all value connections, because when I download and go through their database, I see, interesting titles. Who are these people? But when you want to find people, like say I want to find business coaches, okay? So I'm going to say business coach, and I'm going to pull this thing up.
So Judi, while you do this, let me interject, because
interject,
just to make this easy for us to comprehend. Step one in your tip for getting started was optimize your profile around your niche, right? Really focus your profile on your niche. Now we're talking step two.
I love this, Craig. You really keep me grounded here. Yes.
Which
I'm all over the place.
Which step two here is use LinkedIn's tools to target people quality connections over quantity, right? That's kind of what you just said. So am I right?
Yeah, okay. I don't accept all invitations for various reasons, but yes. And part of that goes back to, I'm sure you've heard the term, customer avatar and all that thing, so you want to ideally connect with the right people that are going to be potential clients. But, in this case, I want to connect with other people that are connected. Or in specific industries that I want to get into. So I'm thinking about, who are these people? And so when I pull up business coach, I get 155,000 results. Now, the way these results are factored is that it's bringing up connections of connections. So I have to be connected to these people in some way. So in other words, it says second degree, second degree. So it's going to bring up all these second degrees. That's my coworker, by the way. That's the smart dog. Yes. Okay. So he wants me to mention that he's not coming up on this. Anyway, it'll bring up all my second degrees. So that's why the quality of your connections are important, because if you don't have quality connections or you don't have a lot of connections, these results are going to be different. So I would say all of you, while you're watching this call, go into your LinkedIn and type in the word business coach and look at how, yes, I got that. Look at how many results you get. Like Craig, when you do it, how many come up for you? It's different for everybody because
For business coach?
Just type in the words up here, business coach, and I don't even have it Booleanized yet. But you'll see it depends on where you are geographically. It depends on who you're connected to, so you're going to get different results. So
do you want to know how many I got? Is that the question? I got 150. I got 153,800 results.
Okay, and I have
Was that
155.
the
How many
question?
connections do you have overall?
Oh, 1 second. I've got 8,500.
Oh, I'm surprised. Okay, I only have 1,600. Okay, maybe they're not all quality connections.
Well, maybe business coaches aren't who my target is.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, early on when I started this account 10 years ago, I was, connecting to my neighbors and, my kids' school stuff, and now I'm more strategic, obviously. So when you're, by the way, disclosure, I am on the free platform. Okay, I am not on the paid platform. There are some limitations with the free platform, but there's a lot that you can do on the free platform. The limitation is the amount of searches it will let you do. They will shut you down at some point and say, "Oops, you're just about to, reach the limit," and they don't tell you what the limit is. So that's one of the reasons why you would get a paid platform. Another thing is the filters by which you can search are limited on the free platform. So, most of my clients are on Sales Navigator, which is a really great platform, but, that's an $80 a month charge. So you really, if you're going to do that, you really have to think, okay, am I really going to maximize my experience being on that platform? So anyway, on the free platform.
Let me say that a different way.
Yes.
'Cause I get this question a lot too. Should I buy LinkedIn Premium? And your answer is no, unless you want to do more searches or unless you want to use more filters. But for most people, if you're using LinkedIn to get clients, you do not need to buy anything else. Just use the free tools, right? That's what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. There are, like I said, there are limits, but I think you can work around that. So as I'm looking at this,
I know some of the limits are, it's outrageous. Like if you're just using this as you yourself, you're not going to reach the limits. Yeah. But if you really get someone to help you, or if you're really hitting it super hard, you might, but the limits are a lot bigger than you might think.
Yeah. So now the first thing is over here, I want to filter this a little bit more. And so I want to find New York City. Okay. So I'm going to put New York City in there as a criteria. Okay. And then I want to find people. I can look at my first, second, or third level connections. So I'm looking at second and third level connections. And I want to find certain companies. I'm looking, if that's applicable. You can look at all the filters available by clicking on that all filters. And this is how you can refine your search. Okay. If you're looking for a certain title, I want to find owner of business coaches. So these are people that own their own companies that are business coaches in the New York City metropolitan area. So those are the different things that you can do. Now, another thing that you can do is you can use Boolean search, which this is what I do. And I usually put it in a notepad or something so I don't lose what I'm doing, but I'll use quote marks. So business coach, and I want to find marketing. Okay. And I want to find LinkedIn. So I'm looking for people that work on the platform that have this in their profile. And so here we are, I only got 42 results, but I'm finding people. I did not limit them geographically, but these are people that are business coaches that have marketing and LinkedIn in their profile. So it's here it is, marketing coach, recognized LinkedIn trainer, business consultant. So why I'm telling you this is how you can find some of your competition. Okay, so put in what you do and any of the specifics. And I'm not necessarily a business coach, but I wanted to find people that call themselves that, have marketing in LinkedIn. So this is called Boolean search. So when you're doing this, it's using the quote symbols to keep the words together, using and, or not in capitals, and then anything else along that phrase. Yeah. So now, as far
You
as
said to use that to get your competition, but I mean, if you've got a really
well, to
specific
find anybody, if
niche,
I'm looking for anybody.
yeah, that's
So
a
I
great
want
way
to
to find clients.
Yeah, so I want to find if I'm looking for let's say sales director, because this would be my target, sales director, or let's say business development, and let's put in industry. Okay, let's just say architecture. Okay, it would help if I could spell architecture, right? Architecture. Okay, so I'm putting that in. I'm not specifying any other filters here. Okay, it's giving me 1 million results. I've got all these directors of sales, sales directors. These are all great titles. This is the title. So then I'll go in and I will further refine this. So I'll say, maybe I want people that went to, or went to school. Let me narrow it down to second and third level. And I can add connections if I want to find connections of Craig, okay, because maybe Craig can make an introduction for me. And I want to find these people in New York City. Let's see what we get. Bada boom, 11 people. So that means Craig is connected to all these people. So if I want to reach out to them, I can then say, hey, Craig, would you make an introduction to Rahul here? Because, I think there's something I can do for him, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a good way. By using the Boolean search, you can hone down on your target. And then if you look at people that you are connected to, so, going back to that connections of your connections, then they can make introductions. So you can kind of see that 6 degree of separation. So it's kind of fun, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on this because you can really go off on a tangent here. But the point is, connect to people, take a look at your competition, connect to people that are going to be of value. Either you can offer them value or they can be of value to you. Now, when you get invitations to connect, I personally believe that there should be a note or something. Now, I have these debates with some people right now on another group that when I send out a connection, I generally try to, here's somebody, I just basically short and sweet. Beth, great presentation today. Would love to connect with you. Here's another one that I wrote. Taylor, we're both members of Josh's group, blah, blah, blah. Would love to connect to you as part of my network. And I sent that out to a bunch of people in his group because he had to put their profiles there. But put some context into why you're connecting, because if you get these generic connection requests, then sometimes I will write back to the person, hey, I don't think we've met. What can I do for you? How can I be of help to you? How can I be of service to you? If they don't respond, that could mean that they found me on their LinkedIn phone and they were just connect, and there's no reason for the connection unless I see there's a value. So don't feel compelled that you have to accept every connection that you get. If something looks a little fishy, and I have to tell you, people do a lot of scamming on LinkedIn. I will do a reverse search and look at their image. And this is usually people that call themselves marketing experts that have less than 100 connections, and they have these weird job titles, and they're based in an Eastern European country or India or something like that. Why would I connect? So I'll go back and I'll look and find out, this person isn't legit. So just be aware of that. There are lions out there, which means LinkedIn open networking. I'm not one of them, but anyway.
So Judi, before you move on, Tamara asked a question about the search. She
Yes.
says, "Is this search on Sales Navigator?" So I'm not sure if that. So she was doing
say that
that
again
search
now?
So the question was, is this search on Sales Navigator? And I'm not sure, Tamara, if you want to clarify in the comments, go ahead. But I think
it's more so. In Sales Navigator, it goes down to micro detail, number of employees, job titles, seniority, function. I mean, there's so many different things.
But right now, you were
I
just using the native LinkedIn tools. We weren't using Sales Navigator. It was just
No, no,
the
no. That was
free
just the
version of
free
LinkedIn.
account.
Yep.
Yeah, see, it
Okay.
says reactivate premium. I'm still, they finally are allowing me another trial offer, but no, this is just the free version. This is it. Okay, so that's the search, that's the target, and that's really finding the right people. So the next part, excuse me, is engaging with insights. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about insights. Now, how do you know, what is going to be useful? First of all, you have there's a social selling index, and the way that you find this is there's a link. And Craig, at the end of this, I'll post the link in the chat, but you can look up your social selling index. And what this is telling me for myself is that there are criteria with which this number is measured on, okay? Establishing your professional brand. So that's what I talked about, really optimizing your profile. I still have ways to go here. I'm only 20 out of 25. Okay, so there's some things I can do. Finding the right people, okay? Engaging with insights. This is the part that really has to do with how well you are engaging with people. Are you putting out content that people are sharing? Are you conversing with people on the platform? Are people visiting your profile? There's all kinds of different things that factor into this. I could use some improvement. Building relationships. Again, these are how I engage with my first level connections in terms of the messaging that we have, and have I endorsed them? Have we worked together? Different things like that, the common degrees. So, they tell you this. Now they're telling me that people that that are in my industry, that's what their average score is. And then people that are in my network, so this is the value of my network, their average score is 55. So, and it's telling me where I rank. Now I'm down 1%. This is like following the stock market. So don't get obsessed about this. This is just good to know kind of where you stand. And usually when I'm working with people, I'll pull their social selling index to look at as a point of comparison. Here's where we started. You were at 37. Now you're at 89. And, here's kind of the things that we improve. Yeah.
So Judy, just
So
to wrap my head around these stats tell me how good I am at engaging with people on LinkedIn, right? Like how good my relationships
say that
are.
again.
This is telling me how good my relationships are, or how good I'm at engaging my connections. Is that what we're doing with this?
This really measures how effective you are at establishing your brand, engaging with the right people, finding the right connections, and building relationships. So it's really your whole presence on LinkedIn. Here's your performance.
Okay.
Okay. So it's really, how are you performing on the platform? Are you taking advantage of all the things that you can take advantage of? That's what this reflects. So, yeah.
So, and then you're going to share this link with us afterwards, you said, right? So after the presentation.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. I can pull it up right now. It's called, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to put it, how do I put it in chat? Because this chat is different than the, hold on.
Here, if you put it in that chat, I'll put it over for you. If you can put it in the chat box I'll put it over on the Facebook one.
Okay, I'm at a loss here because I've got too many screens open. Technology, you gotta love it, I'll tell you. Always have a backup plan. I had 3 different sets of earpods because 2 of them failed.
But it was LinkedIn. It was LinkedIn.com.
Yeah, where was it? It's called, LinkedIn.com/sales
/SSI.
So if you want to do your score right now and put it in the chat, put what your score is. Don't be embarrassed. I mean, it's fine. I mean, we all start somewhere. It just will give you a really good idea of kind of, are you really rocking on the platform, or do you have some work to do? So I'd be curious to see if people would share that. Okay, so now let's continue. So that is really about insights and subject matter. Now let me talk about content for a minute. And one other thing on insights. Let me hold on here. I opened a bunch of tabs here, so
Judy, while you do that, we've got some people posting their scores. Mine was a 64.
What are we looking at?
So mine was a 64. 64.
What? 4?
64. 64.
Oh, 6-4. Okay.
64.
do you hear it
Bill
for?
says,
Janet, you rock, Janet. 82. I
yeah,
love it. I love
Janet
it.
had an 82. Bill had a 60. Scott
Excellent,
says
excellent,
he's
Bill.
got top 55%, 51
Yeah, but what's your
for
score?
Tamara.
What's your score, Scott? Tell me your score. Don't tell me how you rank. Tamara, great. 51. You're halfway there. Okay, cool. All right. So now, one thing I want to show you is on your dashboard, when you look at your profile, there is some information right here. This is your dashboard. And this gives you some really cool data. First of all, who's viewed your profile? This is another one of those limits. If you're on the free account, it only shows you a couple of people that have viewed your profile. Don't worry about down from last week. It doesn't really matter. The point is people are looking at your profile, and you can see here 49 views, 19 views, 42 views. What you want to look at here is to see who these people are. Now, again, they're blocking me. They say activate premium, but they're telling me 3 work at eGrabber. So those are people that use these third-party tools to grab email addresses. So they're just sales prospecting. But 4 work at this company, 2 work at this company. 22 have the title CEO. Great, that's a prospect I want to reach. So let's go back and let's look at this part, which shows you post views, and this is really who is viewing the content that I put out there. And so it's showing me. There we go. These are some things that I've put out there, and every time you post something, this little thing here tells you how many times it's been viewed, if people have liked it, where these people work, where they're located, and then it'll also show you, sometimes if I have more views, it'll show me if they're in the 2nd degree or 3rd degree of my network. So again, what that is useful for, this data is useful if you are trying to reach a certain type of title or a certain type of market or industry, and it's going to show you how effective you are at reaching that. The search appearances show where you are showing up. So these are where people in this week, these are where these people work. Someone from LinkedIn is looking at me. But these are people that are looking at your profile, and this is where they work. This is telling the job title. Okay, now this is good because if I have a lot of salespeople as the most people looking for me, that's not good because those are people that are trying to sell me something. I don't want to be sold. But executive directors, business strategists, founders, target. Okay, so those are the people that I really want to reach.
Yeah, so I love what you're
But
saying here is using, I love what you're saying here because it's using these stats
data.
to make sure that your profile is geared towards your niche and also your content is geared towards your niche.
Exactly. Because,
Okay.
it's kind of like if you have, and there's always this kind of funny thing, but some people think, oh no, my profile's fine. It's really good. It's like clients that try to have strategy based on their preferences as opposed to their customers' preferences. Happens all the time. Again, same thing with your LinkedIn profile. You want to have it geared towards your target audience's preferences, not what you like. So that's why this is just a check and balance, like, oh, okay. But the titles are real important and make sure it's reaching the right people. And then here's some of the keywords. Here's some of the keywords that people have used to find me. And Charles Schwab, gosh, I worked there, oh my gosh, before my daughter, who just graduated college, was born. So you can tell how far back someone was reaching for Charles Schwab. But anyway, that you do get more data and information on the paid version. So what I'm showing
So how
you
did
is
you
just
get
the
to
free
these
version.
stats again? How did you get here, this page?
Okay, if you look at your profile, so go to your little circle thing up here where it says me and click on view profile, okay? And then you just scroll down, it's your dashboard,
Okay.
okay? And by the way, I shut off this career interest thing and career advice because I don't want to get calls from recruiters and stuff like that. So it's up to you. You can have it on or off, but at the end, I'll tell you some about the notifications. The other thing here is this is all your activity. And when we talk about engaging with insights, Craig and I were on a call and I said, Craig, I want to try something. And it was this experiment about this article. And I wanted to see if I could create something that was going to get really good engagement beyond the connections that I had. And so I wrote this article, but I really didn't write anything. All I did was I curated a bunch of information and I put it out there. And so the stats I've gotten to me, and they continue to grow because I continue to resize this and redice it out there. I've gotten 2,000 eyeballs on it. So for me, that's good because I only had 1,500 connections at the time. 54 people liked it. 14 people commented on it. Now, every time somebody comments on something that you've put out, it comes up again in your feed. So it's interesting. There's usually the first couple of days are really important, but then if some of you were to comment on this, it would show up again in my feed and it would show up in your feeds. So then, all of a sudden things become a little bit more, the 6 degrees of separation. If you're all quality connections, whether or not you're connected with me, it doesn't matter because it'll show up in your feed. And then 16 people have shared it. Now that's where it's golden. Where people are sharing it is like it's going, if you share something, it's like the highest form of flattery. I like this enough that I want to share this. Okay. That is the best kind of engagement you can get. So, and anytime somebody posts a comment, it's always good policy to respond to it because it shows them that you're not just like it, but respond to it. Okay, so that's some ways that you can gain insight with engagement. Now, I do some tracking, and I thought I had that little chart pulled up. I'll pull it up in a minute. But I do some really detailed tracking on my metrics because I like that stuff. I like to know that stuff. But for instance,
So, Judi,
yeah.
I'm going to cut you off because a little bit because we're at 2:20 and we can go
Okay.
past 2:30. But I think, just in case people have to jump off right at 2:30,
Yep. Okay.
let's give them the third step just so that we can make sure that that's there, and then we'll take some time and review some profiles.
Okay, so the third step is really putting out content and engaging with people. The way the LinkedIn algorithm works is this. They do not want you to leave the platform. And this is now true with every social network. When you have an outbound link, that gets the least priority for the algorithm. So live video is the first and foremost favored content on LinkedIn, and you're seeing more and more of it now. The second thing is if you post something, but don't post an outbound link in the text, post it in the comments. That is a little trick that's going to help your reach, and you can test it if you don't believe it. You can do it both ways. The third thing is obviously to post a graphic or something that's very shareable. I did this video, and there's getting some views of it. I posted some different things. Again, I kind of mix around with the different things I put there, but that's why I track to see what people engage with, so I understand, okay, this type of content works. The last thing about the engagement is really to message people. So when you connect with somebody, it's really good to then acknowledge why you're connecting or thank them or, offer them something. Hey, here's, you might like this, but do not sell them. It happens so many times, where somebody will connect with me and the next thing they want to do is they want to sell you something and boom, 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 here's all this stuff, that they send you. And I was just looking for that one from the guy from yesterday. Yeah, here we go. This guy, boom, went into a sales pitch. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, he wanted to connect with me. Okay. And that's a nice enough message. It's a little scripted, but, fine, I connect. And then boom, he went in right into the sales pitch. And I was really turned off by this. And rather than,
What do you mean?
rake them
You
over
mean
the coals.
you didn't immediately buy his stuff? That didn't work, Judi? It didn't. You didn't
Well,
immediately
why
pull
do
out
I
your
want to
credit
give
card?
him 15 minutes of my time? Why? Why? I mean, 15 minutes of my time bills at a certain rate. I want to give that to him. I don't even know who the heck he is. So what I said to him is, rather than, be mean to him, I just said, I'm interested. Does this approach really work for you? What's been your, connection rate? How many people have actually done this? And then he went back, but then he went back into the sales pitch again. So,
Yeah.
it's do not do that to people. Again, try to build relationships. If you find something, like I just connected with a guy, we had a conversation and he's into blockchain. I found something really cool about blockchain and I just sent him the article. He loved it. And, so it's that kind of stuff, that you're paying attention, you're really understanding who these people are. Now, one thing I would encourage you to do is be doing this at least every couple weeks, depending upon how active you are, but go in and download your connections. And you do this by going to the privacy tab. Okay, so did you all get that? You go to your face right here and you click on settings and privacy. Okay, and then from there, you go down to download your data. Okay, And if you're doing this for the first time, say you want the works, get everything, every post, everything you've done, because this, you want to own this. Right now it's all on LinkedIn. I pick just my connections, and I do this every 2 weeks, and I download the archive, and it gives me a CSV file of my connections. And then from there, I upload them to a Google worksheet, and I sort them and do all different kinds of things with them. So I keep track of who I'm connecting to. But I encourage everybody to download your data. Also, spend some time in this section and look at your settings. Look at everything that you have here. Go through each one of these things, start with account, and just go through them. And put these things, look at your preferences, look at what you have out here, because a lot of the stuff has been updated and there's a lot of new things in here. So that's what I would say in terms of insights. Now, the last part about building relationships is, it's really like everyone on this group should connect on LinkedIn just because we're on this group, and it's good business. Now, I want to get to a couple of profiles here. Mark, is it okay to do your profile? I know you sent in your profile here. So Mark, is that okay?
So while Mark is responding, let me, before we switch gears, let me review our 3 steps. So the first step was really choosing a niche and then using your and really going after that targeted niche. And then the second was use your profile to really cater to that niche and kind of put your best foot forward. And then the third one was to engage through good content and through messaging. And I think what I want to point out, just because sometimes we don't always see where the conversion point is. And Judi, this is kind of what we were talking about. You modeled this really well. The conversion point is not on LinkedIn. The conversion point comes after you've built the relationship. You have a one-on-one consultation or call, and that's where you convert them into a client. So it's all about relationships and providing value all throughout the process on LinkedIn, and then you use that messaging to create an opportunity to talk, either in person or on the phone, and that's where the conversion to being a client comes into play.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we just have a couple of we have a couple of questions that came in. First of all, Mark asked it perfectly fine, but then Mark also asked what we meant by post in the comments, and I think I remember what you're talking about. Posting in the comments, and you were just saying if you have an outside link that leads away from LinkedIn, to put it in the comments rather than in the body of your post, just so LinkedIn ranks it higher. Is that right?
Yeah, and actually LinkedIn is, every time somebody comments or somebody likes, it posts it higher again. So, the algorithm is looking for engagement. And so any of those signs, it comes to the top again. Yeah.
And then Tamara's asking what platform you use to create video and then post it to LinkedIn.
I did it on LinkedIn sitting in my patio. There's a little, on the mobile app here, there's, what is it? If you click the mobile app and you look, see it has a little icon. Huh?
Isn't it called LinkedIn Live? Is that right?
I don't know what they call it, but it has a little video right there. See that video?
Gotcha.
And what's nice about the video is it downloads to your phone. So if you want to, then I also posted it on Craig's group because now it's my video, and I posted it on LinkedIn. Yeah, and I am terrified of video. So this is like really hard. When Craig asked me to do this, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'll be the first. Put me under the bus.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
But yeah, so, but now I'm getting a little better. My first one I did on a train on the way to the city, and then I did this one sitting on the patio, and now this. So, it helps people know who you are, because I can see your face, but once I hear you talk, if you have a beautiful British accent or, whatever it is, wonderful. So, anyway, what I wanted to say here was one of the things that I do with my LinkedIn, let me get this thing smaller, is I track each week. I track my connections. I do this mainly for my clients, not as much for myself, but I track the metrics of what's going on so I can see results. And if you want to screenshot this, you can, but all this information is viewable on your profile. And what I also do is I download my connections, and it shows me the date I connected on. And I just, I keep track of different things on them, but these are all my connections, and they're in a spreadsheet. So it's just good for you to keep that information yours and not leave it on the platform. Now, let's go to Mark. Mark, okay, great picture. And I take it you're in Washington, D.C., so that's great. So that's using this as a geographic point of reference. Now, in terms of what you do here, you have, those are good points. You can use a little bit more of that real estate. This is a missed opportunity. It's nice to meet you. If we're not yet connected, let's chance that right now or change that right now. Why? You got to give me a little bit more there to chew on. Take advantage of that. Think about what is it about you that you offer that would be interesting. You're a strategic communicator. Tell me a little bit more about what that means. The Air
So in
Force
that
vet, I think. What's that?
in that headline, you're saying, where he says strategic communicator, maybe expand that a little bit and say, hey, I help blank people to
Well,
get
like we
blank
said,
results, something
yeah,
like that.
what something a little bit more. I mean, that's not bad. Podcast host, what podcast? Host of XYZ podcast would be really cool. But then you can write about it here. And I think the Air Force vet is great because you're going to find a lot of common ground with certain people. So having that there is good. You have National Defense University. Is that where you work? Okay. So strategic, yeah, you may be limited by what you can say. I don't know if there are some social guidelines since you work for, I'm assuming this is a government entity. So that's something I would check first before you put anything here. Even though it's your profile while you're currently employed with a company, you may have some guidelines that you have to adhere to. So I would check that. Your contact information is great. You've got your name shortened. You've got your websites there, and you've got your Twitter handle. I think that's fabulous. If you want people to call you, you may add your phone number there. If you don't want to disclose your phone number, have a Google Voice number. It looks like you're on a premium platform, and looks like you're posting activity here, which is good. Let's see, you have 7,300 followers, so you have a pretty good sized network there. That's really good, Mark. Hold on, let's see what we have here. So I want to see how active you are. So you've been posting. Oh, why my internet is so slow. Is that you posted so much, Mark. It's taken time for this stuff to come up. Okay, this is great. You're using hashtags. So if you wanted to post this without the actual link, you could post it and this, and then you could put the link in the comments. Test it. If you want to know if it works, do it both ways. Don't do it at the same time, but try it and test it that way. See which one comes up better. This is good. Putting the hashtag there, sharing something. Yeah, I mean, you're very active. You're putting out different things here. What I tell people is steer away from religion and politics by all means, because you don't make friends that way, and you don't want those conversations happening on LinkedIn. Keep it to Facebook. Okay, this is great. You have an article here, but it was November 2017. That was a while ago. Perhaps you can think of something else you want to write here. It's great to have, something at least. I mean, tell you, I'm guilty because February was the last time I wrote an article. It's just nice to have something, and I think you did a good job of that. Really good. You have a nice profile. I think that, if you are able to, given, where you work, if you're able to expand upon your headline a little bit more in your summary, I would take advantage of that. I just want to see what you have on the rest of your profile. By the way, another thing, endorsements. Skills and endorsements are one of the factors that are used in the algorithm. They're not just for headhunters and recruiters. It does factor in, there's like a weight given the amount of skills and how much you're endorsed by them and the value of the connections that have endorsed you. So it's all these things that go into factoring that. So if we look at that, I can see, yeah, you're a heavy hitter here. You've got 99 plus in a lot of these. What I would do is take these that are 99, push them down a little bit and push up some of the other ones to the top that you want to get more skills for. And then go ahead and endorse some people and see if that impacts your skills there. I usually give before I ask. So I will endorse people before I will ask them to endorse me. Same thing with recommendations. I will give people recommendations, and you've got a good number of them here. However, your last recommendation was from 2015. So I would encourage you to refresh this a little bit. Perhaps you want to, you gave 2017, these people haven't reciprocated. So in that case, sometimes you may need to do an outreach to certain people. but it looks like some of these could be refreshed. They're all great, and so I wouldn't lose them. I would keep them, but I would see if you can get some more recent ones, and try not to get them all at the same time. Kind of space them out.
You know,
Um,
let me throw my 2 cents in again. One of the things I think that's really coming up for me right now is that this can seem overwhelming. You know, you're like, hey, you know, content needs to be up to date. The recommendations, don't just get them; you have to get them frequently. I think one of the things that we need to point out is that this has the potential to be like all of your marketing. Like this could bring
yeah,
in a good amount of clients every single month, and you are 100% in control of it. So, you know, if it feels overwhelming to you, maybe take a step back and say, hey, what is like the what's like the minimum I could do and still get some results? Like, you know, maybe you do an article every once in a while, maybe you update your profile, maybe you do some messaging and some connecting. That's going to get you like really kind of moving. But then if like it's working for you and you're like, hey, LinkedIn is my jam, this is where I'm going to live, then the stuff we're going over right now is like you want to deep dive and you want to really control that and make sure that you are on top of it, because that's going to be your marketing, you know, the main driver behind your marketing. And then just a comment on Mark's profile from me is what I love, Mark, is the cohesiveness between your pictures and the Army vet and your business. Like you build the know, like, trust factor just in terms of visual and how it feels very quickly. And I just want to point that out, you know, so that you don't, if you do make some changes, you don't lose that portion of it, because the know, like, trust factor gets built very quickly with you by mentioning your vet, by having the American kind of theme going on.
patriotic,
Yeah,
patriotic.
patriotic.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, I don't know if I mentioned this, Mark, but you could put multimedia in this summary section. Take advantage of that because it looks like you have used it in your various experiences. Yeah, I mean, I would say that this is a really good profile. And what was your score? What was Mark's score?
Oh, it was, I can't scroll down. I don't remember. I think it was like 85. I think it was at 85 or somewhere around there.
Yeah, trying to see. Yeah, okay. Mark 71. Okay, good, good, good. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're in just about in the top quarter of you know, it'll show you on that SSI what areas you need to improve. So just build it out a little bit more, but I think you're on a great track there. Who was the other one that we were going to do? Was there somebody else? It was what's her
So
name?
a couple
Sandra.
people actually volunteered afterwards too. So we've got,
Oh, I got Sandra here, and Sandra and I connected. So
and
can I
then
do Sandra real
Ashland
quick?
was also one of the people that volunteered. And then if we have
Okay.
time, Paul Barton also volunteered.
Okay. Is Sandra on the call? Sandra, you're on the call. Okay. So make sure everyone's on the call if we're doing this. So Sandra is on the call. Sandra, great. Okay. So I think you got from our conversation this ubiquitous blue thing here could be really enhanced with something great. But your picture is fabulous. I like that picture. It's really, really nice. And I think, you know, this is good. You're helping retailers who are frustrated. You know, you're saying what your promise is to drive more traffic and boost sales. That's great. What I would say here is I help entrepreneurs, it's almost redundant. So why don't you think about what you want these first three lines to say? It should not be the same as what your headline is. It should get, you know, into something a little bit deeper or a little bit more engaging. And I would also add some multimedia here. You can, again, up to 5 pieces will show.
I think,
Let's see.
can
Yes.
I think, you know, to add to your top three lines there, if you took it to the next step, like the emotional level of, because you're in that headline, you're like, hey, I help you do to get this result. And then you say something, you know, to build that no, like, trust factor, like, I love it when I turn a retail business around, or to see a retail business go from X sales to through the roof, you know, something like that, to bring in maybe a little bit of like your personality or a little bit of that um, personal touch to it, while also highlighting how you get results.
Yep. And even just losing that first sentence would help, you know, because it shows that you've actually been firsthand in running companies, so you have that experience. So yeah, definitely. Now, as far as activity here, liking is engagement, but it's a passive form of engagement. If you like something, why? Why do you like it? You know, quote something, say something, just make a comment and see if that affects your SSI score. Because I think that that will get the attention, hopefully, of the person that, posted it. And also, it's a way of starting a conversation. It's a way of engaging with your connections. So take a look at that and see, rather than just liking, see if you can actually start to comment on things. And maybe you'll feel, more confident because it doesn't look like you've posted anything. So, and I could be wrong. I'm just looking at this thing right now. Um, Posting is good, but not for posting's sake. Yeah, you have posted a couple of things here. It's taking a little while. Yeah. So it's about 3 months ago you posted something, and this is great. By the way, you can, like Teresa, you have her thing here, but you can also tag her. So when I'm talking about companies, I do tag them. But if you do it like that, here's the thing, you got to tag it in the platform. You can't tag it if you're using like a buffer or something like that. So you have to go in here and you have to edit it and tag it real time on the platform. That's the only way it'll work. But yeah, you have had some things up here. The fact that it's not getting engagement, what I would do is take a look at the nature of these and see, is there any similarity here? Like, how does this relate to, maybe you're talking about the retail industry. One of my clients, I was posting stuff, he's a recruiter, and I was posting stuff about, recruiting and team building and all that stuff, and not too much engagement. He had about 3,500 connections. I started talking about economic data in Dallas and the job market in Dallas and salaries of people that he was recruiting. Oh my gosh, it went off the roof, off the roof, or it skyrocketed, the engagement. So talk about the retail industry. There's a lot of stuff going on. Talk about e-commerce. Talk about the problems that they have and put out that kind of content and see if that changes. Again, this is like it's a test. Everything you do, that's why they give you metrics, so you can kind of tweak them. So let me just get back to this. And then as far as you got all these extra numbers in here, that's what I was talking about. Get rid of that. Sandra Parker, so you can keep the hyphen. See if you can get Sandra Parker without the hyphen. Maybe not. There may be others. But try to get rid of these numbers that are at the end because you don't need them. That's just what they assign. You've got your phone number there. Now, the press room, if that's your own business, that's great. You've got your Twitter. Everything here looks good. You got good contact information. A lot of people forget to update their contact information. So just everybody, make sure your contact information is current. And generally, I say to people, use your personal email, not your employer email if you are employed, because if for some reason, you left unplanned and it got shut down, you lose access to your LinkedIn account. The other thing I would say is take a look at, again, this is, I would maybe come up with some bullet points and make it real easy. People probably are not going to read this unless you get them down this far. So come up with some bullet points in terms of what results did you offer or do you offer here? This is your current, you're the principal here on Horizon Communication. So what results, what tangible results, or what have you changed that has impacted so far in the 28 years you've been doing this? When I see College of Sequoias, I would make sure you're tagging College of Sequoias because you have it tagged here, but you don't have it tagged here. And the way I know is it has this generic thing and this has the logo. So just make sure it's tagged appropriately as you're setting it up. Take a look, again, start endorsing some people that and then hopefully, they will reciprocate. But I would have your 3 most important skills at the top to start. 3 most important skills. And then you can, as you're getting more and more recommendations, by the way, you can have up to 50. So why not? Add them in. And then interests, yep. It may show you're in certain groups, schools. This is all great. More opportunity to connect. I haven't, LinkedIn is about to revamp their groups. So I don't spend a lot of time in the groups on LinkedIn. So, I just use it actually when I'm looking for content. And that's another thing too, like, you want to, let's look at, retail, trends. Okay. I'm going to do a search right here and I'm going to go to see how these choices, I'm going to go to content and I want to see who's writing about retail trends. This is then people that if I were you, I'd want to connect with. Okay. These are, different people are writing about this stuff, global real estate, retail trends 2018 for Asia, just shows you all the different things that have used the words retail trends in quotes here, all the different things going on. And if you like what you see posted here, you can engage with these people if you're not already connected with them. But here's 4 trends specialty retailers need to know. And if you like it, you can take the actual link and share it. You don't have to share theirs. You could, or you could share it organically on your own. But this is where I curate a lot of content is I'll use different search terms and I'll find content here. So
I think what you just said is really cool to point out and kind of like take out and let's look at it is if you want content that is engaging, you just use LinkedIn to find out what content is engaging. And so you can either share that yourself with your own comments, or maybe you can compile, like you did a list of things that you link to it, right? You're compiling content instead of creating. And it's just a good way to make content that you know is engaging because it already is engaging with people.
Yeah, and Josh F.E., I got to show you these 2 guys. Josh F.E., this guy. Okay, this guy puts out content, and he's still pending. He hasn't checked his thing here, but he's been getting this most amazing engagement, and he has a method by which he posts these hooks. And what that means is he leads in with these hooks, and he talks about posting from mobile, since a majority of people are consuming content from LinkedIn on a mobile device. So when he posts things, you can see there's a lot of line spacing here. But when you're looking at it on mobile, it reads beautifully. So he puts these things here, and then you see, okay, 44 likes. I mean, he does different things. You can see that there are some of these he has a lot more engagement. But the fact that he is posting for mobile, I think, is the trend in where people are going when they consume LinkedIn. So think about that. Do not put long paragraphs because people, I mean, it's very hard on a mobile to try to read long paragraphs. But he has a good example of a nice thing that he puts, Forbes top 12 innovative founders. I mean, if you have an award or accreditation or something like that, put it in your profile there. Put it in that headline. I think it's really important. Another guy who you either love this guy or you hate him, but he cracks me up, and he does these videos, and that's all he does are these videos. That's all his posts are, and he goes on these rants, but he gets the most amazing engagement I have ever seen. And again, it's taken a little while to load. There we go. Yeah, his engagement is. And I've looked at some of the other numbers. It's not showing as much right now because these are newer ones. Let me go back here. But 184 likes, 66 comments. I mean, that is huge. There's some where he's gotten thousands. Anyway, he's an interesting guy. I follow him. I think what he says has some validity, but everybody has a story. And if you want to know more about sales per se, this is the guy, Keenan. This is the guy to follow. So who else do we have here?
Well, so we've got Ashlyn. She didn't post her.
Is Ashlyn on the call? Hello?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, Ashlyn, if you're on the call.
Let's do one more. Do one more, Judi. Either Ashlyn or Paul, and then let's go ahead and wrap up.
Okay, Paul, what is your I can't see the link. What is your Who's Paul?
So if you go, do you have the sweet spot open?
Yeah, I'm looking at the feed here. Paul Barton?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Barton. Okay, let's see what comes up.
And it's Paul Barton ABC if you want the direct link.
Gotcha. Okay, Paul, you're on the hot seat.
Yep, that's him.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. So you got Phoenix, you got the public speaking. Nice, very nice. Nice picture. You're going places, don't the public. Oh, I love that. That's great. All right, I love that. I think your headline is very effective. It's showing me a little bit of your personality there, especially if you're talking about public speaking. You got to be able to put things out. So I think that's fantastic. Phoenix Public Speaking. Let's see your contact information here. Yeah, you've got your name, you've got your website, your phone number, and your Twitter. Great. By the way, you can add other social networks in there under the website thing. You can say Instagram or Medium or whatever else you have. You can put custom websites in there. So This is fantastic. I work with, what is his score? What is, Paul, you're 73? I would think you would be higher than that because this is looking great. I work with business leaders going places. I help them. Great. And you have multimedia there. Okay. Yeah, you could expand on this a little bit if you want to. And you can add 3 more pieces of multimedia here. Let's see. We have some mutual groups. Let's look at your activity here. And bada boom, bada bing. Where is it? There we go. Okay. So your activity. So again, what I would say is, guys, instead of liking things, try to post a comment. Even if you just say excellent article or love this or whatever. See if that changes the engagement. You've been posting things pretty consistent, a couple times a week, twice a week maybe. Good, good. Okay, and you're putting some things there. It looks like you're getting some engagement. You have about 1,800 followers, 1 like, 2 likes. Okay. So did you comment here to Felicia? You might want to respond back to her. Anytime somebody posts a comment on anything that you post, respond back. Say, oh, thank you so much, or whatever. I think that that's a really good thing to do. It acknowledges it, and it will also push your post to the top. Let's see.
So Paul is asking, how do you get the highlights box? And I'm not sure. Do you know what that means? Because I'm not sure what it means.
What highlights box?
So clarify the question, Paul, and we'll answer it. But keep going, Judi, while he answers.
Okay.
Oh, Sandra's saying the same thing. So I'm not sure what you guys are referring to.
What highlight box? Highlight. Where are you seeing the highlight box? Throw in a screenshot. I'm not sure what you're seeing.
On your profile, there's a highlights box. Oh, the box above their photo. Oh, so on the profile, when you sign in on your profile, there should be like yeah, scroll down, Judi.
I'm missing it. Where's highlights?
So scroll down on your profile. You talking about the dashboard here, guys? This box right here?
Here? Because this only you can see on your profile. I can't see your dashboard. I'm logged in on my account. That's why I see this. I'm not seeing highlights. Where is highlights? Is it the dashboard that you're talking about?
Yeah, they're talking about the dashboard. So that's only visible to you. You have to log in, and it should just be there.
Yeah, log into your account, and then you'll scroll down past your top section here. You should see it. Yes. Okay, got it. Okay, good. Yeah, because I can't see your dashboard. I can't see that. And by the way, Janet, that is where, when you're looking at your profile, you wanted to know how I found out those searches. That is where I found them. You look at your dashboard, and it's the 3rd metric that's over here that says, get away, go away. There. It says search appearances. So that's where I found out what people were using to search, how I was showing up. Okay, so let me get back here for a second. Okay, Paul. So yeah, you have something in January. Yeah, I think I don't know what your metrics are. I don't have visibility to that, or it might show me, no, you haven't gotten any likes. You know, you can push this out as well as an update if you want to draw traffic back to it. There's ways to get people to come to this. Sometimes you could send it out in a message to people. Hey, I just published this, and I thought you might like to see this, with a link. That's another way to do that. So in terms of, let me see the next part of your profile here. Going down. Okay, good. Yeah, now this is the same multimedia. I probably would put something different here. Okay, because you already have this up here. So, you can put up to 5 up here, and then I'd probably put 1 piece for each one of your relevant experiences. And you got everything here. High school, this ageism is it's terrible. So I don't put high school. I don't think, does that add value to your story? Is there something relevant about the high school that has to do with your experience now? If so, maybe it makes sense. But if not, lose it. Volunteer experience is great. You can, do a little more work on your endorsements. Go ahead and endorse some people. and make sure that your top 3 endorsements, or at least, yeah, the top 3 should be up here that you want to be known for. And once you get past 99, then go ahead and move up another top 3 until you can get them all past 99. Great work on the recommendations here. This is fantastic. I think you're doing a lot of things right, Paul. You really are. Why your score is low might have to do, I would look at on that score, where is it saying that you need the most improvement? Because each one of those 4 points has a 25 score. So take a look at what it says where you need to improve the most. And that's what I would do to get your score higher. But yeah, I think you've done some really good things here. If you have a lead magnet, and this is another tip, if you have a lead magnet, you could put it under the section called projects. So if you want to put a lead magnet on LinkedIn, put it under the section called projects. You don't have that visible right now, but that's kind of a workaround as to how people can put their lead magnets there and draw people to their website. So you guys are great. Thank you for letting me be the experiment today. I hope you learned something. Can you put it in the chat, one thing that you learned today? Just some feedback. I'd just like to know, did you get one good piece of advice from this session today? And and I'll check this too when Craig does the replay. If there are other questions, I'll be a good. What do they say? You eat your own. I don't know how the term goes, but I'm doing what I tell people to do. I'm practicing what I preach. So I will engage. So if you have a comment, you have another question, you want to reach out and connect to me, just personalize the message. Don't send me a generic one, but just say, hey, heard you on the Facebook group, love to connect. And then we can engage further. So this has been a lot of fun. And I'm so thrilled for Craig to have this group, to have that kind of growth in a group at such a short time. It rocks. So we're going to be doing great things in the group. I'm really happy to be a member here, and I'm looking forward to the rest of you being presenters. So
fantastic. Thanks so much, Judi. And we've got some, people are saying that SSI has been, several people are saying that's been one of the big takeaways for them. And then Sandra's saying she's feeling like she's going to have better readability of flow and a personal feeling on her page. So if you guys want more information about Judi, you can go to her website, just judyhayes.com.
Judi Hayes. So let me just say one thing about the website. The cobbler's children have no shoes. I'm having a problem with my lead magnet right now. So if you go to sign up for something, you're going to wind up probably in the login to ConvertKit. And I'm aware of that. So I will get that done.
Business is a process, not an event, right?
Oh
Ashley, I'm sorry we couldn't get to your profile today. You were the first one to volunteer, so I feel bad. I'm sure Judi will give you some tips, though, we actually did look at your profile. So if you want some tips, you can message me or message Judi. We'll send you some tips. We actually did look at it yesterday together. Guys, really appreciate your time today, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, Judi.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Ciao.